And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
Violence breeds violence. Repression breeds retaliation. And only a cleansing of our whole society can remove this sickness from our souls.
Those folks who were responsible have been held accountable.
Develops weapons of mass destruction. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society.
And welcome back to another episode of the WRK podcast, where we ask the questions, but at the end of the day,
who really knows?
As always, I'm your host, AJ, here with my good friends Dylan and Michael.
What? Yup.
Yeah, today we're here to talk about some stuff, but before we do that, why don't you do us a favor? Follow us on Twitter at WRKPod, Instagram at WRKPodcast, and after that, hit up the Patreon page, patreon.com/WRKPod. You can find an exclusive interview between me, Sam Tripoli, and Jeffrey Wilson. Sam Tripoli of the Tinfoil Hat and Jeffrey Wilson of the Conspiracy Farm on our Patreon page. Check it out.
Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick, I wish our show was as good as our intro.
Yeah. I mean...
God, our show really sucks in comparison, man. You get someone real hyped up, and then they're just like, "What happened?"
It's three losers in a basement.
Four losers.
Four losers in a basement.
Yeah.
Three losers and our sad little robot.
Yep.
And the studio dog today.
Yeah.
We do have the studio dog. If you hear any clanking or something that sounds like a dog's tail hitting something, it is, in fact, a dog's tail hitting something.
We do all wear shin guards when we do the show.
We have to. And nut cups with this one in particular.
Yes.
Tail at dick level, you got to wear a nut cup.
Mm-hmm.
I like the pain.
I may have
Oh,
peanut
you
butter
didn't wear-
in
okay.
random parts of my body.
I actually stuffed my pockets full of peanut butter granola bars before we started.
Obvious choice.
Right on.
It keeps the dog's face near your crotch, and so you don't get hit with the tail. It's a little awkward and weird.
It sabotages
but
the person
yeah,
sitting
it
across from
sabotages
you.
Mike. I always put it in my left pocket, so it's just fucking smacking him.
I'm a
Sorry,
nihilist. so I
sorry,
love it.
Mike. But yeah, Heaven's Gate.
Here we are, Heaven's Gate.
One of many names.
Yeah. A self-defined spiritual group that started in the 70s by Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Lou Nettles. They, over the years, have been given several names. The two founders themselves, such as Guinea and Pig, Bo and Peep, but they finally settled on T and Doe. T being Bonnie and Doe being Marshall. So if you've made it this far into the show, we're talking about another fucking cult, baby.
Yes.
Woo!
Yeah!
We should start a cult.
This is a cult.
Yeah, the cult. I love cults so much.
Same. I think it's kind of crazy. I feel like we probably have cults in today's society, but nothing like these kind of cults.
Well, we have one that got exposed, like, what, 3 years ago? The Nexium cult?
I just feel
Oh,
like
yeah,
that's like
Smallville
that's like
cult.
I feel like I guess I don't remember quite what their ideology was, but I feel like cults today have different mindsets from cults, 20,
Yeah,
30
like 30
years ago.
Yeah.
And especially
Well,
this
one
cult.
started 40 plus years ago.
I mean, we knew that one kid. He was Caesar from high school or whatever that was down in Mexico and got involved with that cult.
But was it? I see. One thing I don't really know was that, like, do we think that was like a spiritual cult? Because I feel like today's
Was
cults,
it a cartel style,
Right.
like El Padrino style
yeah,
following?
right?
Nobody knows. We'll have to get him on here.
Have to hit him up.
Get him on here and tell a
Be
story.
like, hey, it's the 3 gringos you hung out with in high school.
Yeah.
You remember that time you threw up in my car? You owe me an explanation. Tell me about the cult you were in.
Oh, different one.
Different Cesar.
The one that he was dating Paula for a little bit.
Oh.
Yes. I wonder. I can't remember. Didn't they both have like the same last name or no?
Yes, they were. Yeah, they did have the same last name too.
Well, I figured out where our buddy from high school got his ID.
That's weird that you would come in with your illegal ID into the city where you got it from.
No, actually, dude, that Cesar is down in Miami, and he's like building, like fixing ships and shit like that.
He's spot welding on ships, cruise ships and freight ships.
You know what's crazy is that I did welding class with him, and I made him do all my welds.
That's where he got the extra practice. Yeah, it all makes sense.
He got me a B+ in that class.
Nice. I sucked at welding.
I
could weld. I just couldn't weld well.
yeah. Mine looked like turds on the iron.
Dude, I literally got into metals class and stopped showing up to school. So
yeah,
here we are.
Yes.
I can't weld. Moral of the story is, if you need someone to weld something, don't ask me.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure you could do you could do a real shitty job.
Oh, I could figure it out. Like, I mean, I've soldered.
It'd be strong, but it wouldn't be that strong.
Yeah, like don't drive anything on a weld that I've done.
Maybe don't even look at it.
Yeah, don't stand on it for too long.
Dude,
or with too many people.
I think it was Matthias. He won like first place. I think it was like, I thought it was like a nationals welding tournament or something, and he got this crazy fucking cool helmet, welding helmet or mask or whatever, and it was like fire on it. Oh my god, I was jealous. I was like, I should have won that.
It had
that
flames on it. That immediately makes it not cool for me.
Dude, it was like, it looked like it belonged on a motorcycle. It was badass, dude. And I think flames are a little stupid too, you know, don't get me wrong, but man, it was actually fucking cool. Should I say fire? All right, I'm leaving.
Yeah,
I'm
that
going.
was. Yeah, you know where the door is.
Bye.
All right, so Dylan's no longer a member of this podcast.
I'm shutting off his mic.
All right, I'm the new sound guy. Get up, robot. You're coming in.
Everybody wrote Chinese fire drill.
Yep, Chinese fire drill.
So the story kind of starts out with Doe Marshall Applewhite. He is a failed singer. That was his career choice. That became a college professor from 1950 to 1970. He was exposed of having a sexual relationship with one of his male students.
Yes, he is gay.
Well, we don't know that. He
Don't assume his.
He is gay or bisexual.
Yeah.
But
I almost want to say...
Maybe he just wanted to try it one time.
He was married, and I believe that they had a child that was miscarried.
Maybe he just wanted to try it one time.
I feel like
it wasn't one time.
I feel like in the later years of his life, though, he was neither. What would that be called? What is that? Asexual? I don't know sexuality.
Asexual is you're not attracted to anything.
Yeah.
No, asexual is when you have babies with yourself.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how sexuality works.
Yeah, it's a weird time in our lives for sexuality. So the where the Heaven's Gate really starts is the meeting of Marshall and Bonnie, and it's a very heavily debated meet. Like, people still don't really know how they met. There's ideas of how they met. They know where they met and when they met, but they don't know how or the circumstance leading up to it. She was a nurse at a mental hospital. And so it goes either two ways of the recording of them meeting. Is he was visiting someone at the mental hospital, or he was a patient of the mental hospital.
I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts.
Exactly. But what we do know from both of them writing in their tribunal diary, whatever the fuck a cult leader calls their diary.
Their scripture, I don't know.
Yeah.
The Torah.
when they locked eyes, he told her, "I felt as if I knew you before." Which
So
leans,
he was a patient.
Yeah,
He was a
leans
patient.
me towards him being a patient.
Love
and
at
she,
first sight, dude.
yeah, and she told Doe, remember, she is a nurse at a mental hospital in the San Diego area of California, that aliens had foretold their meeting to her in a dream.
Yeah, and
Is how she responds to him saying, "I feel like I've known you before."
Wait, maybe she was the mental patient.
No, she was a nurse. That's
Okay.
that's the
So
only thing that we specifically know.
There's actually quite a few cases of like people with schizophrenia or whatever, like people close to them or whatever will like be enchanted or induced by it, and so they will get their own cases of schizophrenia by it as well.
Possibly.
He was a
Possibly,
very big man. He was a very big nerd, interested in all that stuff. So I mean, how easy is it for her to go?
Well, and some of the stuff that he was like interested in hasn't been invented yet. It was just the idea of, like, we're talking about before 1970, them meeting.
Did you ever watch like any video footage of her speaking?
Not of her, but I've watched him speak, and it's fucking terrifying.
I've watched him speak. I don't know how she speaks, but the guy on the podcast I listened to the whole time, he goes, "Hey, you want to learn about aliens?" And so I'm assuming she might sound something like that, like a smoker kind of voice is kind of what I got from that. Is that she kind of has this Charlie's mom from It's Always Sunny kind of voice. I don't know.
Mac's mom?
Or Mac's mom, yeah.
So I was kind of, I got the impression she was like a waitress at a diner until she was like 50 years old, and then,
she got abducted by an alien.
What's going on, Toots?
You want to learn about aliens?
So she told Marshall that he himself had a divine assignment. Like, this is where the story goes one of two ways, where Bon Bon is a piece of shit garbo human that took this schizophrenic stage performer and pushed a bunch of people into something that she wanted to do, or he did the whole thing and she was just kind of there. That's where the no knowledge, because the FBI report doesn't even have his like social security number, date of birth, anything.
I kind of
like we know his date of birth because there's other records of that. But
I have a feeling, and I remember hearing about that. I kind of have this feeling that it was they were best friend kind of situation, though. I really feel like I get that vibe between the two, that he fed into her bullshit right away, and even though she may have been controlling, she also was like, dude, this guy fucks, dude. He just sits there and listens. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, was she the manipulating?
People that manipulate like that love to have an audience.
Well, yeah. Was she the Wizard of Oz, or was she the guy behind the screen? Kind of.
Oh yeah.
Is where.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's 100% how I think that couple went. Is he was definitely the big image up front, and she was, because when they would talk, he would be out there rambling. He would talk smooth, but not really have a definitive path of what he was trying to say, and she would have to cut in and be like, "Nah, what he really means is that the aliens are coming to pick us up. If we go to the land, we're gonna get our body." I don't know. I just feel like they made a power couple.
Yeah, it's exactly
the least powerful power couple.
Yeah.
Like Beyonce.
Hey, they did get people to kill themselves.
They did do that. Doe In my notes, I'm just referring to them by their cult names at this
Tiendo
point.
is probably the best nickname for him.
Well, and then
Guinea and Pig is stupid.
Yeah, well,
Fuck that.
he came up with their names, and it was based on the musical scale.
Do,
re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti.
something. Yeah, because I think Bonnie was super into that shit, and she was like, this is perfect.
So it's only by chance that she, as a nurse obsessed with the sound of music, finds a schizophrenic musical performer.
Yeah.
And then starts a cult. I don't know. I straight up, I agree. I think that I think she is the guy behind the curtain, and he is the face of Oz.
Like at what point? I mean, at that point in you're in the 1960s or whatever. What did you need for certificates to be a nurse anywhere?
One thing I think of though too.
I think you just needed a white skirt and a matching white blouse.
There is talk of in their journals and stuff like that. There's
with
talk
a big
of
plus sign on it.
Him being like them discussing the amount of time, the downtime that they had where they would just feed into each other's bullshit. And I don't really remember exactly, but I do believe there was some things that he did say that encouraged her as well. Like he had his own ideas as well, and kind of helped, her feed into her whole bullshit as well. Not just her running the scenes. I kind of have this feeling that he also came up with some bullshit and had her just be like, yes, because I feel like they get past what she knows because they learn more themselves. They take religion into it, she's also somewhat walking into uncharted territory that, I don't believe she made up what they came up with all on her own. I think he definitely had some work in it.
And where like their first meeting isn't them running off to San Diego and starting this group by any means. Like they definitely worked on their ideology behind the scenes together.
Yes. I'm pretty sure I can't really remember if they were just like poor or something and camping out somewhere and they just were living out somewhere in the woods or something. It was where, I can't remember exactly what it was, but that's where they did a lot of their bored coming up with bullshit, figuring out what was going on.
What kind of narcotics do you guys think they were on?
Well,
not enough.
She was probably taking his prescription, and he was definitely not taking his prescription.
Yeah, probably.
Is kind of the relationship I assume that they had with narcotics.
Yeah,
I know. It sounds like a lot of girls.
Yeah,
around our age group.
But it's, I don't know. Like as far as that goes, it's they, like you said, they were definitely not on the lam, but they were definitely not suffering in success the way they were when they all left the world.
Right.
Well, him mostly, less her. But they didn't start suffering from their success until almost the early 90s.
Yeah, the 90s. It was
the 90s is when they took off.
Yeah, it was they definitely took a long time of just doing nothing, being nobodies. They can, like, I don't know. They definitely did not get really big until later.
Yeah, well, they would hold.
They stuck it out. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them. I
wouldn't say proud, but
shit, I'm proud of them.
We're at like 2.5 years going strong. We're sticking it out.
But they straight up.
Yeah, we're more popular than they were. Fuck those people.
Yeah. I'm gonna take this time of the show to say, hey, McCheese, I love you. I haven't forgotten about you. But at this point, they're literally taking donations at the mall, talking about just random alien bullshit.
You guys want to hear about some aliens?
And one thing that I will say that when they started getting structure was around the release of a popular sci-fi TV show that regarded aliens at the time, Star Trek. That was a very that's when the whole thing started coming together a little bit.
You have
Oh,
a whole
yeah.
bunch of nerds thinking, oh shoot, maybe space might be real with aliens.
Well, yeah, and if you're thinking like Star Trek, it's pop culture mixed in with
Star
sci-fi.
Trek come out? Oh,
Oh, that's
Dog
scared
stuff.
Piper. But Star Trek's popularity was growing, and they literally Star Trek is just a mixture of pop culture with sci-fi.
And I mean, back
And-
in that day, when there's nothing for you to do, there's no Facebook, there's no YouTube.
You wait for the movies to come out.
You are at the hands of whatever comes out. Your brain is just attaching to because that's all you have.
Dude, I remember even in our time, we're sitting there waiting for fucking TV shows to come on every Thursday night,
Mm-hmm.
And now it's not like that. You get on your fucking Netflixes and there's a whole series.
Wow, you really just dated us, but
I'm 52.
I'm glad to be able to say that I grew up in that time, but
I feel
I'm
like-
also glad we're not in that time
I
anymore.
am 78 years old. You've
Oh.
caught me.
Weary traveler.
But yeah, no, and their response to their beliefs was, well, we're going to take sci-fi fantasy TV, add Christianity to it, and that's where Heaven's Gate started gaining its traction.
Right. Once they kind of added the Bible in, I think also got people to think about it as well, because
Yeah, they were like, oh, well, maybe we're thinking about God all wrong, and maybe the people, like, it's like we talk about today is
right.
like where did the Bible, like where Noah's Ark.
And you look at all these new religions, like these branches, the branches that came off of religion. Like I'm pretty sure, they're all relatively newer branches. Like I'm sure some branched off and made their own kind of divided view, but I mean now there's so many more different.
Well, when
To an
did
extent.
Martin Luther become a martyr? Wasn't that like the
When he
1500s
put
or
them
some shit like that?
95 theses up on the door. No, I don't know. My theory of religion pretty much is it's like that game Telephone.
Oh yeah, well I mean,
You
you fucking look at the New
I
Testament.
mean that's what this was. This was a game of telephone.
You look at the New Testament, it's just like literally the disciples' greatest hits of like, oh, Jesus did this and then Jesus did that.
That was a great album.
Yeah, and it's literally just like the greatest hits of like Buddhist and all these other religions.
Well, what did
Right.
he do with those however many years he was gone?
Well, he was gone for 4 years in the desert.
No, he was gone for like 20 years.
Was he? I don't know, man.
Yeah. There's like no recollection of him from when he was like 12 to 33.
I dropped out of religious ed, so
That is, with the religion added to it, though, I definitely...
40 years, it looks like.
40 years in the
Damn.
desert.
Yep.
Well, I mean, and then they also talk about like a weird dude from
And he's
the,
pasty in his pictures? I don't believe
I don't
it.
believe it.
yeah. Well, and then they hashtag Jesus wasn't white. That's what we're about. But they talk about
He was an Italian.
Watch me turn this...
Hey, you want to see this water turn to wine?
Watch me turn this water into a deep dish of pizza.
You want a spicy meatball? She like the sauce.
That'd be a good movie. Italian Jesus. Oh, man. I'd
Man,
watch
if
that.
that doesn't, if that doesn't take place in Brooklyn, you're fucking up Italian Jesus. Just a fucking pissed off like 19-year-old chain smoking fucking Italian, like first generation
Dude,
Italian immigrant in
We'll-
Brooklyn
we'll
in the
talk
70s.
We'll talk
Just
about this.
fucking chiefing cigarettes and be like, oh, if they knew who my father was, they would not treat me this way.
We will. We'll get into it later, but there is a name that'll be later in this story. Undercover Jesus, and I just love that fucking name.
Oh, are you talking about dough?
Yes. Or
Yeah,
when they do
yeah. That's
the-
literally the next line in my notes is Doe considered T to be the reincarnate of God himself, and him the reincarnation of Jesus Christ himself.
That was his Reddit name though. His I don't remember his 4chan name. It was one of those sites,
That's
but
what-
they
that's what
used the name Undercover Jesus.
That's what he does when he's on the fucking the walkie-talkies. Over and out. This was Undercover Jesus.
Just that's his trucker name.
Exactly.
Hey, there's a lot of 816s on the road. By the way, this is Undercover Jesus.
I see you over here. Some fucking Cub Scouts on their fucking.
This is
Cub Cadet. This is fucking.
This is
Candy
Undercover Jesus reporting from Cleveland.
dude, I always is Marshall Doe.
Marshall's
right?
Doe, yeah.
This is Doe. What's our standing over there? Nah, we're good over here, you guys. We just need to get some people over here so we can go talk to the aliens. Sorry, I'm totally ripping off of. His name's Henry Zabrowski, and fucking, this was my favorite episode that I listened to them because that voice is said throughout the whole show.
What, just the fucking receptionist from Monsters Inc.?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is.
I'm watching you, Doe.
It's yes, that is 100% what he makes it sound like, and that's all I have to go off of because I've never seen her talk or heard her talk. So
yeah, me either.
Which is kind of wild. I even remember the first time. Every time I listen to an episode by them, like by a cult or something, I like to watch like videos of it. So I would go and listen to him talk. I would watch videos. I tried to look up. I think I looked up pictures, but I never had found anything of her talking or speaking. It's really weird.
I mean, it's like, I don't know. Fucking, there were other people backing Joe Exotic, but he was the front man.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The new documentary tells all. Actually doesn't tell shit. I was pissed off.
No, it's underwhelming how much information comes out, but it's like a subsection of every part of the.
Oh my god, it's so stupid.
Yeah,
Oh, I love.
I mean, no, it was great, but like, there's no information.
Well,
like,
they're setting it up for a third season because they know it's going to get downloaded a lot. Is the whole thing about
It's
Tiger
money.
King season 2 is literally about making more money because they
Yeah.
weren't when they released Tiger King, they were not expecting COVID to hit. And it
Yeah.
became like the number one. Like, I'm surprised Squid Game beat it. In
Squid Game was
most.
dope. Way
I feel like-
better.
I
Squid
feel
Game
like-
was way better though.
Squid Game.
Oh
is
yeah, I mean, it actually
incredible.
had a fucking story
Yeah,
to it.
Yeah.
But Tiger King, I feel like it is so
sucked you
popular, but there is half of the people that say, "I watched it. I don't get what everyone was talking about. I
Yeah.
don't get it."
And
And
I
I'm
feel like Tiger King is also more of an American thing compared to like, Squid Game.
Yeah,
was,
globally. Like, no one
global.
gives a fuck about
Yeah.
some redneck and a bitch down in
I don't know.
Florida.
I would like to see like people in Japan being like, "Oh, look at the American."
They'd be like, "Fuck Kel Baskin."
Carol Baskin, I kill you. I kill your whole family.
I spray paint your dog green.
Oh my god.
All right, let's continue on this. Let's continue on this podcast
caught
about
me
Joe
off guard.
Exotic.
I paint your dog green. Oh my god. Oh, fuck me.
Don't fuck with me. Get your dog painted green.
Holy shit. That fucked me up.
I just kind of want a word of the day that right now.
I paint your dog green. Fuck you, bitch. You killed your husband, Don Lewis.
I did not kill my husband. I'm innocent.
Oh my god.
He was on some shady shit though, apparently, man.
Oh yeah, he was definitely
He was fucking little girls.
He was pimping out minors in. Well, they're not minors there, but
Did that
they're
come out in the
minors.
second season?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. You guys will have to. I want the quick version so I don't have to watch the show.
Don Lewis was in. Where the fuck was he?
Mexico somewhere.
No, it was south of Mexico, I think.
Panama.
Fuck, where the shit? Anyway, where he was running a brothel that specifically had clientele that wanted young women.
Interesting.
He would have been right in the game with
Very
Jeffrey.
Old Jeffrey Epstein, yeah, he was in the same game as him, but at a lower level. Yeah.
We sell exotic animals and little girls.
Jesus.
That'd be if Joe Exotic gets out of jail. That'd be his new catchphrase for his new zoo. Be like, we got tigers, but we don't got little girls. Okay.
Dude, he should. That'd be a smart move.
That bitch down in Florida made all her money by selling little girls.
Yes.
I mean, in a way, it's kind of true.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
she attained his estate.
Oh yeah, she obtained.
But they say that there's like $20 million that is still missing of his that's over shores. Costa Rica. That's where it is. Costa Rica.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm
Heaven's
going to Costa
Gate.
Rica.
Yeah, Heaven's Gate. I thought Word of the Day was about to start playing for a second. I was like, God, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, what a shitty word of the day. Just kidding.
That was the title.
Heaven's Gate.
He said it. He said the title of the show.
And inside the show.
So yeah, we've covered their teachings being based off of, like their later teachings being based off of Christianity and Star Trek combined together. This is why people started referring to them as the UFO cult. The members would later dress in loose, like punky, cyberpunky, Star Trek renegade-esque outfits.
Oh yeah.
And their beliefs changed drastically over time. And this is where shit starts to kind of like really go haywire. I don't know if Dylan has anything to add before I get into the death of T.
Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
What I got to add is what was the difference? Like, did they just like were like, oh, we're gonna be a? When did L. Ron Hubbard's fucking thing come out? Scientology. Gangstar. Word of the day. Get your shots out.
Now that's a word of the day right there. That's a good word of the day.
I wish it would have been fucking Tom Cruise though. Whatever. I was gonna say that next.
That's a good word of the day. That was a good pick.
He didn't pick it. I did.
Well, I don't like it when you pick it, AJ.
Al did a great job pressing the button. I mean, sad little I did a great job of pressing the button. Delete that. Let's start the whole podcast over.
They're small boys because it's a leftover, but
That's all I want is a small
In the
boy.
air for the
yeah,
boys.
that's low key. I'm happy that it's a small boy.
This is the Scientology,
Here's the
brought to you
Scientology.
by Black Velvet.
Remember, if you're driving,
Pull over and take a shot.
shot. Take a shot, you guys. It's gonna be great.
Take a shot, Wazowski. Oh my god.
Reminds me of the, like he said, the receptionist off of Monsters Inc. and then fucking, god damn.
Just a
one
woman,
of
a
those,
woman named Marge.
I feel like
in
you're just
general.
like Dave Kroll right now.
Yeah, dude, Ray, the fucking hormone monster. The
Yeah.
old crackhead one.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, guys, let's take a shot.
That's how actually almost perfectly what I imagined she said.
Just like a woman named Marge anywhere in America sounds like that.
Her name's
Yeah.
Marjorie.
But
Just Marge. Anyone that goes by Marge sounds like that. I feel like.
Okay.
so I'm gonna try
And
and
if you have something to say about if you disagree, just
Hey, Marge
just
is a very nice lady, though.
tweet us on Twitter. Tag us and be like, my grandma's name is Marge and she doesn't sound like she smoked 20 packs of cigarettes a day.
But if she did smoke 20 packs a day,
Dude, I was literally about to
Let
say,
us know.
well, there's Marge Simpson, and then I was like, dude, never mind. She sounds exactly like
Yeah, right?
and her sisters.
What are you doing, Homer? Why are you so drunk all the time?
You got tangled up, dog.
Uh-oh.
Come on, dog. Uh-oh.
That's what happens when we get excited. The studio dog acts up, gets tangled up in cords, and we're free.
That's all right. We're not
Ish.
that free, but we'll take it. We'll take what we can get. But I just want to talk about, because I mean the death of T, death of Bonnie. I mean, that's down the road. One thing I want to talk about is how they were trying to go around the country, trying to recruit, and they ended up driving. Their car broke down in Oregon. What's the place in what's the show called?
Portland?
Portland. Yeah. Portlandia.
What's the biggest city in Oregon?
Yeah. But they ended up trying to recruit people, and they end up finding themselves in Portland because their car broke down. and that's where they kind of started their recruitment process. I won't get too deep into this, but just one of the funniest things, I don't know why, I just thought this, this happened to a lot of people. A mother who knew them through, like, I don't really remember how they were interacting with her, but they knew them, and once they spoke about their message, she ended up just leaving her kids and her husband saying, hey, I like what the fuck these guys are saying. We're about to leave our bodies and go on a spaceship. Give me time. I'm gonna go see what they're all about.
I want a ticket.
Another couple that they ended up recruiting. The parents, the dad and the mom, gave all of their kids to a family friend and said, listen, let's just go try this out for like 3 months. And if we don't like it, then we can come back. But that's on borderline of we're about to either join the cult or go back to our kids.
But just think how much like mental I don't know, things that are mentally wrong with these people that are going on at the moment, that they think that they need to leave their whole family and everything behind.
Well, I mean, if someone tells you that you're about to leave your human being, as they say it, as they said in their recruiting videos and their ways to get people, you are leaving your human vehicle, not a Toyota.
Saying, how mentally unfit do you have to be able to so gullible to believe something like that?
I mean, back in the day, they were stupid as fuck.
People are stupid as fuck right now.
Yeah, but I feel like in different ways.
Exactly. I don't know if knowledge is relative to time length.
Right. I feel like I think people are common sense. Common sense. They were just as smart. Don't hit your thumb when you're nailing a hammer. That's like common sense. I feel like they all from back in the caveman ages. But when it comes to being tricked and believing in something, they got tricked the same way we get tricked into thinking COVID was fucking because of a bat.
2 weeks max, you'll have this mask on, dude. I swear.
So it's just one of those things. I do agree. I think people have to have some sort of mental thing going on, especially this couple that decided to leave their kids. They said, we're going to try this for 3 months, okay? And if we don't like it, then we can go back to our kids and start our family again.
The thing about it is, though, maybe they did like it.
Guess how long it took them.
Maybe they liked it. Maybe they, maybe there's more to Earth than what the government and everybody's trying to tell you. You don't need
and they
to be
didn't know that.
You don't need
that's
to be
where,
a gear
that's
in
where
the cog.
exactly. That's why I think they weren't thinking.
People are trying to find a way out, and these people are giving them an option or a way out that they are getting told anyway, and they're believable, even though they sound like fucking
something too.
Mike Wazowski.
A guy that the people were talking about. They mentioned the guy who wrote the book that they were getting a lot of their information from, and they were talking about the one thing that he described about cult leaders is that when they talk, they have a rhythm of how they talk. It's not so much that they're giving solid facts or anything. It's just that they are just talking and they don't stop and they keep this rhythm going and it just keeps going that you could listen
and
to.
Homeboy doesn't blink once.
Yeah, exactly. His wide fucking eyes.
You're telling him what he wants to hear.
I don't think he was telling him. I think he was.
It's easy to lead the sheep astray.
I think he was. I think part of it was yes, he was telling things that they wanted to hear.
Shepherd because he didn't get a lot of sheep.
Yeah. I think it was something that, like, I believe yes, it was something people did want to hear, but I also do very much agree with the fact that he had this rhythm of you could listen to him. And I listened to, because he had 12 tapes come out later that were long as fuck. And I was listening to more than I would have liked to of the tapes. But he just doesn't actually say anything relevant. It's just a constant motion that, in my mind, kind of hypnotizes you. You just get lost in hearing someone talk smooth. He had a somewhat of a smooth talking. Like he would back up and he'd be like, well now let me back up on this. Let me go retouch this. He would fuck up, but he kept he was good at public speaking.
Good at talking.
Exactly. But
he rolled a fucking 20 in charisma.
in charisma, exactly, rolled a 20. But
Natural 20.
I do think these people were listening to him talk, and they were just entranced halfway, and halfway they were like, oh, well, we're going to leave our human bodies and become these new, what's the word? Not ancestral, it's celestial beings, celestial alien beings that are going to be beautiful is what they tell them. You're going to be beautiful, and you're going to turn into someone. That's another thing. They told them they were going to be hunks. They're like, you're not going to have any penises or buttholes, okay? But you're going to be hunks.
Well, and they would also, one of his teachings was Earth's purpose is to garden souls into into
it was a harvest of
God's
the planet.
God's kingdom.
It was a harvest of the planet. It was the time for the planet to be. What was the word they said? How'd they say it? It was time for the planet to be not recycled, but I don't remember. But basically, kind of recycled.
It's weird that they're doing. They were doing things that that they're trying to do now in our society.
Oh, yeah. Today's society definitely did it a lot better than they did. Because somehow they got Joe Biden, who's a worse speaker than fucking Applegate, and it has fucking millions more followers. So I don't know. You got the Georgia Guidestones. They're doing something right up there, okay? They're doing something right.
They're all part of the same cult, probably. They were just like, oh, you guys might be retarded, but no, let's. Maybe there's something that drives those people.
But with the family that said we're going to try it for 3 months, they tried it for 3 months and 1 week, went back to their family, realized this is crock of shit, we're leaving. They were trying to go around the country recruiting. One big thing of theirs is they didn't have social media. They didn't have any way to keep in touch with their followers, but they needed money / they didn't have any money to house a cult. They were broke. They didn't have any way to fund this shit. So to keep their following, they had to tell these people, listen, you guys need to go out and get jobs. Here is the next meeting point. They would just have to say it right then and there, when and where they were going to meet next. And if they didn't do that, then they were kind of fucked.
You got to get the newspaper out.
So they would, dude, and what's crazy about the newspaper, so they would have members that they would send out to do these things. And sometimes they would have members that they didn't like. They would send them away and tell them to go get jobs and say, oh, yeah, dude, we'll talk to you. We'll keep in touch with you. No worries. And for like 2 weeks, they'd try and keep in touch, call them, and then just ghost their ass.
Been there.
But sometimes they didn't have ways to tell people where they were at. So people would put ads in newspapers trying to figure out where the next meeting was. And so people started fucking with this. I don't know. In my mind, I think there was people fucking with them.
Yeah, it's like the invention of the internet troll was the newspaper troll.
Oh, yeah.
I think because this is one of the funniest...
Someone named Chad had a kid named Chad Jr., and that's how newspaper trolling became internet trolling. Yeah. We all know this.
So they don't actually have any records of the troll doing this to them. But like the game of telephone, there was a lot of... oh, well, I heard this. I heard we were meeting here and this. So people would be posting stuff in the newspapers. People would be spreading the word to whoever they could. Hey, this is where the next meeting is. And then people, all the followers and people would show up to some random ass place and no one would fucking show up. And it doesn't say it was trolls, but I fucking guarantee there had to be some...
Dude, I put my money on it. I put money on it.
No, they didn't mention that at all. They didn't talk about that at all. But I have it in my fucking heart that people were like, oh, you guys are gonna go see aliens? Oh yeah, I heard there was the meeting was over there at the Adventureland or something. Like 100% believe there was guys.
The abandoned cow slaughter
And then
factory.
that guy who hears some guy say, "What? Really? The
Aliens?
meetings at the Wendy's on First Street? Oh my God!" Tells everyone, and then fucking 4 months later, hundreds of people just show up to a Wendy's. What's going on, you guys? I don't know, but
We want 12 Dave singles each.
yeah.
Dang.
So, all right, from where you're trying to take off, are you trying to go after T's death?
Yeah, because I feel like that's where it landslides.
Okay, so then I'll keep going. Just for a little bit, I'll try and
Oh,
speed
yeah,
it
go
up.
for it. Well, you don't have to speed it up. Just...
It's dude, this like I said, it's just one of my favorite cults, man. They're fucking crazy. So once they started sorry, sad little robot. Fuck, dude. We haven't podcasted in so long. If anyone has to hear me gargle beer, just type in the comments and donate $5 and say, Dylan, stop doing that. But you have to donate $5 or else I'm going to keep drinking beer in the microphone. But, so another thing is once they started getting their following and they were, trying to actually get people to go with them, they ended up having a camp where they dude, and I wish I had notes, but they had a whole sci-fi camp set up where and I'm gonna butcher this, but like the parking lot was called the launch station, and fucking they had names for everything.
Christ. So
like
I'm sorry to cut you off. So it's pretty much they wore a bunch of bubble suits and fucking.
They did wear bubble suits. So, if you ever seen the movie Dude, Where's My Car? For anyone that has seen Dude, Where's My Car? The Zoltan! Sad little robot. I see the Zoltan. I'm actually really almost certain that was based off of the Heaven's Gate cult because they were all nerds, and that is one of the nerdiest cults was Heaven's Gate, and they wore kind of bubbly outfits with bubble wrap and stuff, calling them spacesuits.
Yeah, it was like punk rock spacesuits.
Oh,
from
is that-
Star Trek.
So if you
Yeah.
get if you get one of those bubble wrap suits and you go off to space, you know you need some
I'm
oxygen.
pretty
you just
sure
pop
they
one of
wore.
them into your mouth.
I'm pretty sure they all wore black Air Force Ones.
No shit.
Yeah,
I need to get some new black Air
they
Force
wore
Ones.
Air Force Ones, black. Literally, I have like the same pair of pants that they wore in
Did
my
you see
wardrobe.
pictures of them?
Oh.
We should
No,
be-
I got ready for an
Let's-
episode about Heaven's Gate, and
I just
didn't watch.
I'm
their
only
dead
going off of what I
bodies.
hear. I swear to God, they had some. But maybe I'm wrong. I really swear. I think it was like they did have like bubble suit like kind of costumes though.
Yeah, but they were black. They were called their graduation garbs
Hell yeah.
when they were found. Yeah, it was.
They
They were
actually-
found in their graduation
Their
garbs.
main name, they don't call themselves Heaven's Gate. The main name they call themselves is the Class, and they call themselves also Classroom Situation. I think I don't really remember.
They were Guidos.
Also, there are active members of Heaven Gate in today's society.
Yep.
You cannot become a member anymore because Doe is no longer around to offer initiates
Well,
a pathway to their eternal body.
one of the first remaining members of Heaven's Gate was actually the person that they put in charge of keeping up their website. And
Yeah,
so
and
this
he's
goes
also the same person that found all the bodies, did the 911 phone call.
So this is
have his
actually
name.
Weird.
This is actually, and this is up for discussion, I believe, but they have it on pretty good authority that this is the first internet cult. This is the first cult that was on the internet and had a website and everything.
What if this dude was the dude that killed everybody?
He might have, but I would highly doubt.
No, because, and we'll get into
What's-
it, but
what's-
they
what's dude's name?
did exit interviews.
What's
Dude, the
what's dude's
exit,
name?
dude. I wish we had footage of it. Dude, can we? I feel like if we can try and look up, like even just one of the exit
You
interviews.
can't play any of them on YouTube because they have
guidelines.
No, not even that. His name's Rio D'Angelo is what he goes by now. But community guidelines, they play soft, copywritten music in the background, and you can't
But you can't just play it with no volume?
Oh my gosh, it was chilling. Oh, sad little robot, thank you. I don't know if people can see it, but that's awesome. They all got Nikes. They all went and bought the same pair because I think they were like on sale. And actually, those look fresh as shit.
Those aren't Air Force Ones. Those are trainers.
Are they? Anyway.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So they
Air
were.
Force One is just the first thing that comes in my head when I think of Nikes.
Those
So they
are
were.
nice Nike
they were at
trainers,
this
though.
camp, and they would. T and Doe had the main trailer where they would stay. And to keep everyone connected to them, they would have everyone else's camps set off in sub camps, and they would give each of the sub camps a name, just like they gave all the people names. I don't know if you have any of the names of the people.
Dude, I have
that
so many of their names that it's gonna make you fuck.
I love
Yeah,
subs.
dude.
I love subs.
It reminds me of Dodgeball when he goes Blazer, Taser, Flazer. Like all their names sound like I don't know about all their names.
Let me hear
but
some names.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
God, dude,
I'll
they're weird, but they.
go.
I cannot remember off
That
the top
goes.
of my
That,
head.
yeah. Okay. So, Exodii, Genodii, Gemodii, Juwanodii, Lagodii, Tidodii. It's literally they
I
would.
think it's
they would-
pronounced like Lagodi or something. From what I understood, it was like
yeah,
Lagodi.
probably. I'm just overemphasizing it.
No,
just
I
for
feel like, I
comedic.
did. That's probably yeah.
They would assign them 3 letters when they joined.
That's fucked up.
And add ODI to the end. So one person's name was Alan something.
You couldn't pick your 3 letters?
No.
Fuck.
They were assigned to you.
I already got my 3 letters picked out, though.
Sometimes they got lazy, and you could see it. So in the... Oh, man. How do I find it really quickly? There is a...
There is, yeah.
The FBI investigation, so they left a catalog of people with their name, like their 3-letter assignment.
Yeah.
And then their name, and I don't.
So
I feel like
I
I
don't
was
know if
jumping too far into the suicide.
Okay, so
to
let
go
me
that
say
deep.
something. Let me say something about that.
I'll
Let
continue
me say
about my
something about
camp.
the 3-letter thing. So there's this theory or superstition thing or whatever where if you take your name and break it down from numbers to letters or whatever, you get 3 letters out of it corresponding with your numbers. And mine end up being WYL.
Wilody.
Wilody.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they're at the camps. They have each sub camp with the name connected to their camp, and they would do these things. They would call it games. They would call it games where the people would have
reindeer
to
games.
the games that they would have, and this is their games they would play. They would have the people. They'd ring a bell. They'd ring a bell, and people would have to run up to them and say, "What can I do for you? What can I do for you right now?" And they'd go give them a chore, and they'd go do a chore.
No shit.
And then they'd do it again, and people would run up to them, and they'd be like, "What can I do for you? What can I do for you now?"
That'd be so fun, dude.
So, yeah, same. Why is that not a video game
I
yet?
actually forgot to wipe my butt. I need some help.
So on top of that, another thing that they had practiced was the drill in case something bad had happened. In case they needed to pack up and leave.
Oh.
So this happened on 2 different occasions. Once, a member of the cult took a car out of town, and they had the drill, packed everything up, ready to leave, until they found it out, and then T goes, "Nah, it's okay, you guys. It was just a drill. Put everything back."
Yeah.
And then another time, someone went to go visit family or something, or wrote a letter to family. I think all it was is that she wrote a letter to her family, and that was enough for them to be like, "Pack up. We gotta fucking get ready to go. We gotta go, dude."
Well, you never know what that letter could have contained, especially if she was a higher up in the, you know. Yeah, there's a really good show that I watched on Hulu called 9 Perfect Strangers. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that.
Sorry, my mic was off. Yeah, I fucking loved that
really?
series, dude.
Fucking
It was
great.
so fucking good.
Fucking great, dude.
Also,
I gotta
Nicole
watch it.
Kidman can fucking
Dude.
like
Oh
spit
my
in my
God.
face and
Oh.
like,
Nicole Kidman.
oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they had that. They were in the woods where people would like to go hiking and on trails. And because they were such nerds, they were so embarrassed about their outfits that they wore around camp that they had a special drill and an alarm system somehow to warn the whole camp that if a hiker was spotted, they would have people on lookout around the camp. And if people were spotted about to be running up to the camp, they'd go and warn the rest of the crew so they could all put on normal clothes and get out of their super stupid fucking looking clothes.
Spacesuits.
Their
Jesus.
spacesuits. And if people would come up to them, and I'm pretty sure they had, and they'd come and ask us like, oh, how are you guys doing? What are you doing? They would call themselves a Bible study group. They did not want to recruit at that moment because it was normal people and not random fucking idiots who just
Random
sat down at
schizophrenic-
the mall and
You're-
sat
it's-
down at the chair to listen to
The
them
thing
talk.
is, they did very well figuring out their audience and figuring out what. Dude, I think they did prey on people with mental disabilities, and they were like, well, these people obviously can't either think for themselves.
You know what, though? Actually, to go back on that, and I'm saying yes, I think there was disabilities in them, but the tapes, I would recommend anyone go listen to the exit tapes because they all did voice recordings before they left. I didn't hear a single one that sounded like someone who was unintelligent. They sounded perfectly normal.
You can be perfectly normal,
Right.
and still have some sort of mental disability. Like there's football players that have CTE. There's people that have PTSD, and and they're looking for a way out. And if you give them a way out, they're gonna jump on that situation and try to get on that way out.
Like we all sound normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I'm dumb as
maybe you
hell.
guys. Maybe you guys.
Before you consider yourself sounding normal, look up the death of Nicole Kidman's father and his relationships with Epstein. Well, not right now.
Oh, all right.
But
I hear you typing. Like, I'm not right now. But
yeah, so
they
they definitely didn't want to be found out.
Moms.
They kept doing their thing. They'd move around. Eventually, they decided to create. I think they bought a piece of land, and they called it the launch site, which they got from a book, which was to build walls. And I think it might be a popular book because I've seen this in other shows and movies. Walls of like tires and shit. They called it the launch zone, where they just built walls of tires, And that might not be
Weird.
But I mean, back in the day, if it was a popular book and that keeps going through, society or whatever, like, I don't know. It's just one of those things that's crazy. They let anything influence them, from the Bible to Star Trek to a book. They would just take anything they could get and go with it.
It's not those things that influenced them. It was dough and tea.
I think it was the sci-fi aspect, a lot of it.
I think that influenced it quite a bit with it.
But
pop
I do
culture,
believe
yeah.
I do believe it was Doe. I do believe his way of speaking is
It's
what
hypnotic.
hypnotic. Like the guy said, they're in a rhythm. They'll talk as long as people are listening. They will talk, and it does not matter what they say. They just want someone to be talking to them and telling them things that they just find interesting. Oh, we're gonna leave our bodies and shit like that. But yeah, they end up building this launch site with all the tires. I think they just gave up on it because it was too much work and they didn't have any
That's
money.
a lot of fucking tires.
I got a random ass question. Does the number 17 have any significance into this at all?
Not
I'll
that
take
I'm
that as
aware
a no.
of.
I don't know why. What you got?
Well, no, because like if you do like the do re mi fucking scale, do is 1 and t is 7.
Oh.
Well, we're talking about the names based off of a. They were basing dough and
But-
tea based off of God and Jesus Christ.
But okay,
Not-
so
So the highest of the scale.
what he's talking about though is they'd assign the people 3 letters or whatever, and if you break down people's names, you can get 3 letters out of people's names.
Another thing, a lot of it came. I feel like a lot of their, like T and Doe was just a random name, but one of the first names they actually got, one of their first nicknames, was when they went and talked to like some spiritual guy who told
Guinea
them
and pig.
He gave them some weird names and said that they were destined. So I feel like that's kind of almost like that just fed into their bullshit so hard that's
so
what
two
took them
crazy
off.
people went to another crazy person.
Was it Bo
Yes.
and Peep?
Yeah, they did have Bo and Peep. I'm pretty sure that
I thought that was
another
their
name.
second.
I would like
names.
to. I would like to
maybe
s-
they came up
I
with
would like
Guinea
to
and
s-
pig.
It wasn't.
I would like
That
to
wasn't
see
the
if
religious names. The religious names were a little different. I don't really remember, but it was a little different.
I'd like
the,
to see if the numerology of their names and all of those names equal to the same number.
But yeah. So they would pack up. They'd move around. They'd go to the launch sites, and this whole time they're just broke. They don't have money. They had to keep making people work these. I don't know the right word. Remedial jobs.
Remedial job. Yeah. Just
because they found out, they told them, you got to work a job that you don't like because otherwise you're not going to be able to shed your human body. But really, it was because people, when they would have them go get jobs that they liked, they lost hella members that way. Members were dropping out left and right because they were getting jobs where they're like, oh shit, that's Tim from accounting. Because they, in their mind, everyone
people
was
that are desperate, you know.
They told them that every single person on Earth was a Luciferian. That they were not good people. They were the fucking Satan people. Like these are not real people. And when they found out that that wasn't true, they were losing insane amount of members. So they made them get jobs that sucked. Which, good job on their part. They were smart. Good. I applaud them for realizing that.
Talking about Luciferian members and if you guys want to look up something really weird, look up it's a thing. It's called SM-102. It's in your COVID shots. Look it up.
I think I did hear something about that, but
So I think what we're leading up to is 1985, the death of T.
Yeah.
Died of cancer. This meant that Doe was going to have to, or not going to have to, but he changed his teachings.
He was in charge now.
Like, yeah.
He got to say whatever he wants.
Solo in charge. So what Doe did is he locked down the 48 members that he currently had and made them excommunicate everyone in their life in 1985. They moved together into, oh man, I want to say it was, they
got like apartment or some shit. Like
they got like a series of apartments that were specifically all of them were next to each other.
Yeah.
And this is, in my notes I put, this is where things went from like kooky weird, see someone at Walmart and walk away from them, to like scary weird.
Like you're in a Walmart and like 20 Amish people walk in and you're just like, oh god, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, and this is where Doe really started like pushing the leaving your human bodies as vehicles message. Like they'd been preaching that for a while, but this is where he like solidly was like, there is going to be a day very soon that we all leave our vessels.
The thing about T is she never said that they were going to leave their bodies forcefully. She always had it in the books that they were going to be visited and taken.
Yeah, T didn't say that there was a doomsday,
right?
As opposed to Doe said that there was in fact a doomsday.
And he starts talking all shit, saying, "Oh, there's going to be robots that are killing us."
Do you think they needed each other?
There's going to be storms and hurricanes and shit like that.
I think that he needed her more than she needed him.
Yeah,
I think she needed him.
The cult needed her. Okay. The cult needed her. They'd probably still be alive
I think
today.
that
Well, they still are.
No, I think he needed her more,
members
more
that
than the
killed
cult
themselves
needed
would still
him.
be
I think that she was the backbone of it all, almost.
I do agree. I think she was.
And she was, with him, he was just spouting random shit because he was fucking.
You calling him a mental patient? Like,
Yeah.
I totally do not. I lean towards the idea that he wasn't, but I totally have like a 49%
Bro,
chance that he very was a mental
Let me tell you
patient.
this right now. If in those days, every single one of us would be considered a mental patient. They would be able to put us in there. If you're a lesbian in those days, in the 60s,
Because all of us kiss boys, dude.
You can go get electroshock
Dude, I'm pretty sure
therapy and
everyone
shit,
in this room has kissed each other in my garage.
Yeah, we all touch tips, bro.
Well, it was
In
it
a
was like a
way.
Power Ranger kind of thing.
Yeah, like all at the same time over the poker table.
Yeah.
Mighty Morphin.
No tongues.
It's a ritual in our own cult.
Yes.
Yeah. Like if you want to be in our group, you have to kiss all of us at the same time.
I
in my
always
garage.
my favorite
And then touch tips.
My favorite.
And if
news
you want to be
story,
a man,
dude.
you have to piss and shit in my basement.
Yeah,
That's a
if you've-
standing rule.
If you've ever seen a Rat King, it's kind of the same thing, but with our penises.
I always love the story. Me and my boy McLovin, and for some reason we just had this thing every time we see each other, give a kiss. And I remember one time his dad, who's very uncomfortable with the homosexual, and we're chilling at their party, and he just walks up to me. His dad's looking, fucking pops me on the mouth, and I was just like, "I'm sorry, Perry, but you gotta know, man. You can't. You're gonna. Here it is. Here we are, baby. Can't be uncomfortable with it." Did we do tongue? No. Do I wish we did tongue? Yes.
Nice.
But yeah, the apartments where they moved to. This is where shit got controlling. This is where shit got God, like it went from a group. It went from kind of a group to a cult. This is where I feel like really the cult
and this is
kind of
also
formed.
where you brought up this is the first internet cult. I first time hearing that, but I totally believe that. They went from rags to riches very quickly.
I mean, they
just
were talked
designing
about
websites.
They were talked about, and I think someone went on CNN, an actual website developer, and said, "These guys are not good. These guys are." And even today, it's described that back in the day, compared to amateur website developers, they were not good compared to amateur web developers.
They were reasonable.
Their website, when you have a visitor count on your website, I think it's stuck at like 2,500. So, I mean, they had that going for them. You know, that they had at least that many people go to the website. But, yeah,
They were described by their clients as reasonably priced, easy to work with, and that's about it. But
you need a website? You don't care that we're a cult, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. They took, every time people gave them names about being a cult, gave them weird, funky names, they took it and they ran with it, and they would...
Oh, yeah, they
call
owned
themselves. Yeah, they owned it. Good for them. We're the creepy UFO cult guys.
It's like
yeah, we are.
Yeah, they were literally like the high school bully target that took like the Hank Hill. Oh, own it, Bobby.
Own it, Bobby.
Own it, Bobby. You like musical theater? Well, tell them bullies that you like musical theater instead of football.
Exactly. Even though I don't think Hank would like that very much.
No, Hank would hate that. But I mean, Bobby.
Yeah.
Oh, you like magic, Bobby? Well, tell them football players that you like magic more than football.
You can do magic, Bobby, and then you're gonna go meet some aliens and get taken up to the spaceship. I definitely think, though, it's crazy. When they moved in these apartments, this is where he took control. He controlled every single action of their lives.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
every single action.
Not saying that it was for the better or not, but he did take them from an apartment complex in San Diego to a 9,000 square foot mansion. So I mean,
He's doing something right.
He did something right.
Like,
It probably wasn't the right thing.
What were they doing with the money beforehand, though?
Well, they didn't have money before.
Yeah, no, they didn't have shit.
Their schedule, they
were
were
LARPing in the woods.
One of the girls who decided to leave the cult, and I can't remember if it was because of the killing themselves part or why. I don't really remember. But she actually had a list with her, and so we have documentation of like her schedule. And so it kind of went like this. I'm going to very much butcher how this actually went, but this is kind of like a really good idea. Wake up, 9 a.m., brush my teeth, take a shower. 9:35, do chores. 10:35, clean up. 11, take a nap. 2 hours later, wake up from nap. Fucking 2:30 afternoon, do chores. 4:30 afternoon, cook dinner. 4:50 afternoon, clean dishes. Like it was down to the every hour.
Keep in mind she did not put shaved vagina when she was in the shower.
Yeah, but
it was the 90s, baby.
But let me tell you this though, like, is that so bad? Like, come on, I didn't have to go to work today. All I had to do was wash a few dishes and take a nap.
Well, they were doing this before. This is when they were poor that he was guiding them around. Like they didn't have money. They had to go to work. They had to come back. They had to do chores
like 3 times a day.
Yeah, exactly. I hate oatmeal. They made these people separate themselves from their body. They wanted these people
only in the
packets. They wanted these people in the cult to separate their humanity from their body. So they would eat foods that didn't matter, that were supposed to be healthy. They would eat, what was it, cayenne pepper, I think. They would like eat cayenne pepper.
Cayenne pepper binges. Well, it's like what they do in India.
No, we need to give people fucking Kellogg's, because that's what he intended them for.
Yeah.
You guys know that, right?
Space pirate.
Well, no, the dude that invented Kellogg's Flakes or whatever, you know, regular just cornflakes. He invented them because they were so bland that he thought that they would make you more pure.
I thought it was was that the story? I think I watched that on
this
Drunk
guy
History.
Didn't realize
the guy
that
who invented cereal.
In their house.
Yeah,
he had a colt.
It's Kellogg.
He had a colt.
Yeah.
And it was his brother who said, "Hey, look what." It was because he accidentally left bread overnight and it molded and it turned into a crispy flake. And so he started saying, "Well, this is what's healthy. This is what's good for you." His brother this is played by the Wilson brothers. It was an awesome episode. His brother decides to say, "Well, let me put some sugar in it," which sugar was very much banned from that cult.
Oh yeah.
So it was very much a no-no. So he goes on to put sugar in cereal and made the fucking world change while his brother was still trying to have his cult survive. And
well, he wanted his brother wanted that cult to be so bland that it would do as what the Heaven's Gate was. You know?
Yeah. Separate yourself from the body. Yeah, that's crazy. I forget. That'd be a good episode.
I'm reading up right now. There's a myth of why he made it. Dr. John Harvey Kellogg thought sex was harmful to people's physical and emotional and spiritual well-being.
I believe it.
He said masturbation can lead to mood swings, stiff joints, acne, blah, blah, blah.
Man, I got all of those.
So it was thought that they were originally created in an effort to encourage people to stop masturbating.
Yeah, let me just eat cornflakes and I won't masturbate anymore.
And that's exactly why I talk about Applegate.
I eat beef so I can masturbate.
That's why I talk about Applegate being asexual or whatever, because he said the same shit. He said, you cannot enjoy yourself. One of the members got punished and he left.
Ooh, punished how?
Because his urge to masturbate was so hard that he left the cult because he was too horny.
Too horny to handle.
Same.
He can be in our cult, though.
Yeah.
Dude,
he was too horny.
Dude, I have a lot more than that we can get into.
Yes, I want to. Fuck yeah.
Like I said earlier, this is where I think that Bon or Bonnie.
Yeah.
I like to call her Bon.
Bon.
I think that she found this man as a patient in the mental hospital where she was working as a nurse. It's the only record we have of the mental hospital. and then began pushing him to create a spiritual resolution between themselves to build something. And that's giving her the benefit of the doubt. Otherwise, she's just a fucking psycho.
That's what I imagine. You guys want to learn about aliens?
Well, I mean, yeah, and she's either indulging him or straight up coercing him to push people because he is good at what he does. And he wanted to be a performer in the 50s, became a professor of musical theater, I believe, like on a collegiate level. So he's obviously a good performer.
Yes.
And then getting pushed into this.
Was he a good performer in today's age? No.
You want to know who he reminds me of in today's age? Is Joel Ostring or whatever his name is.
Joel Ostring.
Ostring. He's got like this big old like he's like the biggest TV church guy or whatever.
Oh yeah, the guy that ha 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 ha. Yeah.
Is that how you remember it?
Yeah, just his hysterical laughing.
Dude, he's a fucking wacko, bro. And he's like, bro, you've got millions and millions.
He's like
of people.
the only modern day like
miracle
priest.
Yeah. I will touch your noggin and you will lose your AIDS.
You will exorcise these demons by the grace of my presence.
Hallelujah. Okay,
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't stand that turd, dude.
Yeah, so this is when the era of the internet starts coming around. This is when they're living in these apartment buildings, working 9 to 5s under strict supervision of Doe himself, who does not work a 9 to 5, by the way. He just kind of hangs out.
The camp.
Yeah, you have to, especially when you rent out like an entire apartment building.
Bro, just think about renting out like the apartment building right behind the mall.
He made it seem too like T and Doe, when she was still alive too, they made their followers believe like in burden. Like everyone had their burdens. The chores were their burdens, but their burden was that they had to teach and give guidance to all these people, which is a real shitty way to just sit on the couch and give orders.
It's really weird not to, to think of it that way and shit, because there was this group of Christians or whatever, and they thought what they had to do to get towards God was to like beat themselves every day, so they'd have like a whip and just whip themselves in the fucking.
Yeah,
that was during
they're called Jesuits.
That was during the Black Plague, bro.
Jesuits, yeah. I mean, there's still to this day Jesuits.
Dude, the Black Plague back in that day, they would do demonstrations where they would whip themselves on the back, and the king, or like not the king, but like or whoever would control the land would come to these demonstrations where people would be bleeding, whipping themselves on the back, and he would playfully like pretend like whipping himself on the back, being like, hey, look at me, I'm whipping myself, woo.
I might be speaking incorrectly, but I'm pretty sure like a huge conspiracy is that Jesuits are the lower class of Jesuits, and the black Jesuits are considered people like the Rockefellers and stuff like
like
they
Moors.
portrayed some shit like that in the new Dune too.
I talk about like Moors and stuff.
No, like literally like the Rockefellers,
Is Dune
the
good?
Rothschild families all come
Dune's
from black
fucking sweet.
Jesuits.
Oh, see,
Like, did you read
when
the
I-
book?
Like it's like there's it's
Is it good?
so the way is
Really?
there's a family that doesn't follow the classifications. There's 3 tiers of it: a family that doesn't follow the faith, a family that follows the faith and punishes themselves for not following the faith, and a family that punishes those that don't follow the faith. So it's like a 3-tier system where the middle and lower class are just getting fucked by the upper. It's literally an economic development that's been going on for.
So what I get from that though is that because like if you say the Rockefellers, I come back to the richest man that's ever lived is the Mazu Manza or guy or whatever, from Africa, the king he would like deplete whole fucking populations by just giving like a single gold chunk out, and it would like retard their whole civilizations because of how much money he put in the economy. But and then I feel like if you're saying that, because I didn't know that, you know, what you were saying, that it comes from the Black Jesuits or whatever, that would make a lot of sense where they got a lot of their money and everything like that.
Well, I mean, it's easy to in like our sphere of thinking of the show, it's easy to be like, oh, this family that's been in power since literally recorded time. Not in power, but in wealth since recorded time. It's kind of like why are they writing about that, and why are there, whereas it'd be like Queen Elizabeth's family has been in power since what, the 1200s?
12, 13. But I want to know more about fucking Alexandria. That's what I want to know more about.
Yeah, the library. Yeah, but it's like with that theory is, if that theory is true, the same family has been in financial power since the birth of Christianity, which is where you can really like tie down like wealth.
I would say yeah. Everything has.
I mean, I agree. Like, I believe it, but
everything's been in power since then. Everything's been written. People have already written.
Yeah, it's like the Louis C.K. joke is like, yeah, I was born in 1982 BC or AC. Why do you have to specify AC? Because the Christians won the war.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everything that's gonna happen has already happened. Everything that's gonna happen.
We're talking about what, 2021 Zoltan time?
Zoltan.
So we're gonna get picked up in our spaceship here soon, huh?
Zoltan.
I don't know. When's the next comet that goes around Earth?
When does Halley's comet come around next?
Halley's comet came around, what was it, 1987?
Yeah, Halley's.
Damn, we're never gonna see that, huh?
The next one, I believe, is in like 2060,
100 years,
2061.
Yeah, I just remember because what was it, Seether that wrote the song, I just saw Halley's comet.
Isn't that Shinedown?
Shinedown, yeah. I don't know.
Second
I'm
Chance.
pissed that I know that.
I love Shinedown, bro.
This is a butt rock basement, okay? We like good rock and we like butt rock down here. It's fine. It is what it is.
There's a comet. Let's see.
When's the next time? What's it called?
Comet Leonard is going to be December to January this year.
Bill's Edge, is that the name of the comet? Dylan, do you remember off the top of your head?
December 13th. Ooh, that's
what?
The name of the comet that they sacrificed. Oh, Hale Bopp.
Hale Bopp. Yeah, Hale Bopp, because it was the two scientists, something Hale and something Bopp. I don't know their first names because I chose not to remember.
When's the next time Hale Bopp comes around?
Orbital period. Jesus fucking Christ. Not for a long time. The orbital period is 2,533 years.
So
the last time they saw that was 95.
I know the exact I know the exact date.
Leonard Comet is supposed to be coming is discovered.
Yeah, Hale Bopp plays
in
kind of it doesn't play a massive role, but it kind of it really does play a big role into this, whatever you want to call mental patient, Applegate, fucking Doe,
Grandmama,
Pig. I don't know. I don't remember who was Guinea and who was Pig. I feel
He
like
had
he would
to have
make it.
been
I feel
Pig.
like he was Pig. Yeah.
Well, he was supposed to be Jesus, so he would be Guinea.
It is funny. That is funny when they went on the forums and he took the name Undercover Jesus.
I'm Undercover Jesus.
And what they talked about too, a lot of these forums, same as today, back in the day, you know, these forum sites, it was filled with a lot of people who were anti-Christian, trolls, anti-Christian, atheists, people who were on there to spread truth and debunk the norm, you know. So him going on there didn't really give them an insane amount of popularity.
Yeah, and so Doe and his followers eventually made a fucking shitload of money doing cheap web design. And this is when it started taking off. And this is where you can still, to this day, visit Heaven Gate's website. The original one.
Apparently that number, like I said, the 20, I don't know what it is, but it's still stuck at that. It's just stuck forever at that number.
They made a fucking shitload of money by doing cheap web design for companies in the era of web pages, which their website shows.
Oh yeah, their website is not good.
No,
it's like a MySpace.
Dude, it's
website.
worse than MySpace.
Hey.
Doe told his followers that the earth was just a garden of the souls. And if they followed a strict regiment, they would be able to leave the earth. This is after T's death, is when things start going fucking bananas. While T was still alive, they all lived together. But after that, all aspects of members' lives were regulated. They were given names, like we talked about earlier, leaving their legal names aside, like Alxodii, Genodii, stuff like that.
Staphodiii, Hublodii,
Wyodii.
Gabodii.
Mine would be Wyodii.
Members were not allowed to have relations outside of the group. No sex was allowed, no socializing. Some members eventually would castrate themselves.
The castration was... That was a wild thing.
That was after
You do it every once in a while.
Applegate's castration was the worst one.
Yeah.
And where do you go to get castrated? Mexico. So that's where they went down to Mexico for a little castration trip.
They didn't go down to Mexico. They did it themselves.
He did it in Mexico.
I can do it for you pretty easy.
From my information,
What he did is he rented out a storage locker where they would castrate each other, and they put a sign on the door that said Mexico. So if they were ever questioned by authorities, they would say they were castrated in Mexico. Because they were in a steel box labeled Mexico.
So it's not that hard.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is slice it open.
That's
drop 'em out,
amazing.
and pop
That's
'em in.
awesome.
That'd be like me putting a fucking sign on the door of the studio and shooting all of you and being like, oh, they all got shot in Mexico. I don't know.
AJ, you'd be doing me a favor.
Damn, dude, that's crazy. That's
the same ideology that went behind the castration. Was they rented out a storage locker and slapped a post-it note that said Mexico.
It was documented or whatever said. I don't know if it was documented, but it said that his castration was so botched that he was in pain for the rest of his life. He was in pain in his genitalia region until they decided to leave their Toyota vehicles.
Their astral bodies.
They're Toyotas. They had to cut all ties with their families. We already talked about that. They controlled what their members could read and watch or listen to. They can turn certain radio stations on.
They watched Star Trek through radio, or I don't remember how. They did use a TV to watch Star Trek, I think, at one point, but another point in time, they somehow listened to... I don't even remember, and then he would describe the episode to them. He would describe the episodes to them. It was some wild shit going on.
So there was a point where Doe described to his group that it was time to exit. To outsiders, this meant suicide. But to Doe and his followers, it was them moving on to a more developed kingdom, as he described it. He told them that a spaceship following the Hale-Bopp comet would pick up their souls.
Yeah, they
as
said
they
a
left the
spaceship.
Earth.
Some guy called in to the scientists or whatever saying that they astral projected to the comet and saw a spaceship flying behind the comet. And that started the theory that there was a spaceship behind the comet, in which they got their idea from it.
So the comet was projected to come by Earth a year before the mass suicide. And
What'd you say before that? Before the comet with the ship behind it? I had something else. God, I can't
they
remember.
were supposed to exit.
With the killing themselves. Their rules of getting, because they had to be clean, they couldn't kill themselves. That was rule number 1. Killing themselves would not get them into heaven. They had to either be shot or be killed. Something had to happen.
That's also true in a lot of Catholic shit.
But then their last rule was, I don't remember how they worded it, but it was somehow ending your life, but not killing yourself, but ending your life, but not killing yourself. Because killing yourself is bad, but ending your life is in some way. They made some loophole to themselves.
So what happens if you drink Kool-Aid that you knew had fucking drug,
That's not killing yourself, according to
you
them.
drank it, but you knew it though, you know?
But according to them and their theories, that's not killing yourself.
Look, they died in 3-day shifts.
Did they really?
Yeah. They killed themselves over 3 days.
Did you
That's wild.
Do you have it in your notes about them trying to get the government to come in?
No.
They wanted to be the next Waco. They wanted to be.
Well, I know that they mailed out something, but they mailed it out to a former member.
They wanted to be, and yeah, it did not get following. It didn't happen, but their first move was, hey, we're not going to kill ourselves, guys. We're going to have, the government's going to come and they're going to shoot us down. And we're going to have our weapons. And
They didn't want to
apparently,
be a Jim Jones. They wanted to be a Waco.
according to the amount of weapons they had, was nothing. Apparently, their weapon stash was small as fuck. And they just kept thinking that the government was going to eventually come and shoot them. And they kept that thought in their head until Applegate realized, I don't think they're coming, guys. We might have to, I don't know how to say it, leave our bodies, but not kill ourselves.
We're gonna have to turn the ignition off.
Yeah.
Of our vehicles.
It's not like we're killing ourselves. We're just turning the ignition off.
Jesus.
That was their number one rule. You can't kill yourself because you won't get into Heaven's Gate. But killing
But eat this applesauce mixed with pudding, mixed with vodka, mixed with.
It's a happy accident.
I messed up making the recipe in the kitchen for applesauce. It's fine.
But yeah, Hale-Bopp, that was to Applegate. That was his sign. That was, I don't know. This is another.
He bought with their after they bought the 9,000 square foot mansion outside of San Diego. He bought a powerful telescope so that he could look into the Hale-Bopp comet and tell his followers that there was, in fact, the spacecraft that was going to take them on to the next life. He did not see it.
Can we look through the space? Can we look through the telescope? Can we look? No.
That's when he pulls out.
That's not for me.
He pulls out what the fuck is Joseph Smith, or was it not Reverend Joseph from the Mormon book?
Yeah, Joseph Smith, yeah.
Yeah, Joseph Smith. He has the all-seeing eyeglass and was like, oh, yeah, well, there's golden tablets in front of me. You just can't see them because you can't use the stone the way I can.
I think it was just a circle, like a rock that had
Yeah.
a
It was
circle
a rock with a hole in it.
Yeah, but
It was just a hagstone.
But he just pulls that
Dude, that's
fucking out of his
just
ass.
Real,
and he's
before I
like,
forget, that would be I listened to another podcast.
oh, yeah,
on
no, we're
that
definitely talking about the Book of the Mormon.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to see all of them fight. And
In the afterlife.
Well, kind of like a, like Rage in the Cage kind of thing.
Yeah, like an all-out bloodbath of everyone. The Mormons killed everyone.
Well, no, more like
everyone
all the
from
leaders,
everyone from Heaven's Gate.
So
like,
Joseph Smith, maybe fucking Doe, maybe fucking Noah's in there.
Dude, I can't remember.
Gandhi, maybe.
I can't remember.
Celebrity deathmatch.
I can't remember exactly what Joseph Smith. Dude, my memory is so small, but I remember it was so fucked up that Mormons today literally like banned the talk of like what he did because it's known that he did some fucked up shit, and I think it might have had some child diddling in there, but I just can't remember.
Had some child diddling, some literally what they talk about Christopher Columbus did on it, like maybe on accident, maybe on purpose, if he knew what smallpox was in like 1700s.
Hey,
15s?
John, you're looking real
I don't know.
sick. Why don't
But
you go
anyway,
into the
fucking
medical tent?
He intentionally, John Smith intentionally gave the Native American Indians like diseased blankets.
Damn. Been there.
It's a wild story.
Dude, it's like, dude, if you're gonna cancel Christopher Columbus, cancel Mormons.
Cancel Canada.
It's known
Cancel
among
Canada,
their religion.
bro.
And
it's
Utah.
known among their religion to I'm pretty sure
They would literally just
to
like
not talk about.
They would intentionally
Joseph Smith.
like get native tribe warriors to like attack their camps just to slaughter them with muskets.
That's why I want to watch
the history of
Matt and
Mormons
Trey
is not
Parker.
great.
The Matt
Dude,
and Trey
fucking
Parker thing.
watch Hell on Wheels, and you get a fucking taste of it. Season 3, you get a taste of it, and they literally just describe intentionally giving Native Americans diseases, intentionally getting them to run up on their camps, and just murdering them, their animals, their women, their children with muskets. It's not.
I wish
great.
I lived in those times.
Been some wild times.
Be a short, easy life.
It'd be like a video game. It's like a video game. I want to play a video
Now all I
game.
gotta do is wait it out until it becomes a zombie apocalypse, baby.
That's what we really want.
Yeah, this COVID was the worst fucking... Come on, why couldn't it actually be zombies?
Why couldn't they turn into zombies? That's what I'm saying.
Fuck.
So the question is, do we keep going with the show, or do we end it here and do a second episode next week?
Well,
part 2, dude.
We could, if we want to. How far are we in?
About 2 hours, it looks like.
2:15. Yeah,
let's
if
do
we
part
want to
two.
try and do part 2, we definitely could probably.
I think we could. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
There's
still
a lot. There's more to definitely talk about. I think we could probably fit it in a part 2. May not be the longest episode, but we definitely
got
could
dough
stretch it out.
and we got tea, so we still got to talk about
Well, we don't have tea anymore.
If you wanna hear part 2, donate to the Patreon page.
Yeah. And we still need somebody to donate enough money so Al can take pictures of us naked and put them in a calendar.
Who's Al? I don't know an Al. I don't
Yeah,
know
you mean
anyone named
Saddler
that.
Robot?
No, not that person. That's a whole different Al.
Oh, our friend Al that's not on the show.
Yeah, that one. Our
I know that
photographer
guy.
friend.
Yeah, I know that guy.
He's
But
like
yeah.
a grandma.
I think it's fair to say we could pick this up on another episode. Definitely we could.
And we are as a people.
Thanks for watching again. We're
Yeah.
happy to be back.
Yeah, thanks for joining us for another episode of the WRK podcast, where we ask questions at the end of the day. Who really knows? As always, I'm your host, AJ, with my good friends Dylan and Michael. Meow. Joined in the studio by Saddler Robot and Studio Dog this week.
Oppression breeds retaliation.
Oh,
She
she
heard
just
it.
got up.
She heard it. She heard it.
Yeah, we love you guys. We can't wait to see you next week. This episode is brought to you by Sean Christensen's Tiny Penis.
Yes.
Yeah, and outside of that, not McLovin.
McCheese.
McCheese is the biggest bogan in all of Australia. Hope you're still doing good, buddy. Love you. And outside of that, we'll catch you next week. Follow us at the links down below.
Deprived as a youth.
Bye.
Whether or not they're the victims of society.